Part 2 today of one note, one fragrance. If I have to start my collection again, I would pick this fragrance. I'm breaking the ice now. I see you coming. I've got a massive spot here. I never had such a big one. I think it gives me some charisma. We're not going to talk about my spot whole video, so let's start. First ingredient is honey. Honey and lemon by Incense. Feels a bit medicinal, but I really like that. But this one that I'm going to choose is Cœur des Anges by Atelier des Heures. This is one of the best honey fragrances I smell. It doesn't feel too sticky, but it perfectly matches the juicy vibe of this scent. It's a lot of blood orange. It's super addictive. A great way to have a very unique and powerful fruity fragrance. So that's a yes for me. Leather. Ouch. Idiot. Hermès, a classic Kelly Calèche. This is a fragrance that means a lot to me. When I used to work in Sephora years and years ago, this was always hidden in a drawer. My mom was used to wear it, and I think it was the most classy fragrance I smelled on her. This one, you're more on fruity note. It's not going to be overpowered with leather. And if you ask, is the eau de parfum. It does have a little bit of a vintage vibe, so you need to enjoy that, and maybe it smells a bit more mature for some people, but for me, it's the most sophisticated design. Absinthe, the forbidden one. Green Fairy. I don't know if you ever had Absinthe. I did. And it was an experience. I don't have much memories, surprisingly, of the experience. Whoops! Liqueur BPM is a new fragrance from L'Orchestre Parfum. You know how much I love the brand, and this is their new fragrance. I am absolutely in love with that because you have a velvety leather note in there, and it feels very lactonic. It feels green, but it also feels mysterious, bewitching, weird. You always have something minty, and I find it difficult to wear. This with the velvety touch in there, so good. This is cinnamon, and cinnamon I have to get, of course, Musc Ravageur from Frédéric Malle. It's made a lot of nights in clubs to get your intoxicating perfume. It's all Malle for men or Musc Ravageur for me, one or the other. It smells a bit primitive. The vanilla and the mix of heavy cinnamon and cloves is a bomb. Having slightly animalic in there. On some people, it can be very tricky to wear. It's very polarizing, but for me, if you would have seen me wearing Musc Ravageur, yeah, like I was onto something. Aldehydes, and I have to talk about my dearest. Oh my god, a French accent, horrible. And then after people are gonna be like, you're faking your French accent. No! And I'm very proud of it, by the way. I've got all number 5 version. The eau de parfum is next to my bed, because I like to go like Marilyn Monroe in my bed with a few drops of number 5. I'm gonna wear low because it feels a bit more cedar, lemon-like. For the eau première, it's very elegant, a bit more powder, and this one is more woody, and the eau de parfum is more vanilla-like, but not sweet. I don't expect sweetness. Oh my god, I am such an idiot. Good number 5, never broke. Tobacco, we're talking about Naxos. I'm thinking of how much of a masterpiece this fragrance is. Also projecting like a beast, which is nice. Gentleman, but very modern, because it's not this kind of chipery gentleman vibe. It's vanilla, a lot of tobacco, you have a bit of honey, lavender vibe, you know. Very sexy, but on ladies, this kind of vibe that is a bit woody, tobacco-like, it's sexy as well. Charismatic. Next one is Geranium. It's a very interesting flower. Do you know what? It was used before as a substitute of rose, because geranium smells rosy but a bit minty. It has something fresh to it. But back in the days, very long time ago, people were using actually geranium instead of rose to pay less money, because geranium back in the time was much cheaper than a rose. So basically they would put that in there and they'd be like, yeah, it's a rose fragrance. Actually a flower that is very, very complex as well, and this freshness that it gives is super interesting. I would definitely pick Geranium pour Monsieur. This is a very more casual, elegant fragrance. It's for the daytime, for a man, a little bit mossy, you know. Next one is Rhubarb. I love Rhubarb. I think it's a very unique ingredient, and I am gonna say to you that for summer, get yourself a Rhubarb fragrance, and the best one for this is Hermès Eau du Rhubarb Écarlate. Like a bit sticky, have something green, and it's very juicy, very vivid, has a lot of depth. Despite being a very fresh cologne, I'd recommend for rhubarb fragrance to always spray on the skin because it can give you some surprise. By experience, you know, sometimes it turns a bit acidic on some skin. I'm trying to be serious and I'm looking at my spot. With strawberry, I have a really hard time with strawberry just because I'm allergic to artificial strawberry. Cartier La Panthère is one of them. I think it's the only one that I kind of recommend often that I really love. I think it's got a lot of character. I love the fact that it's a little bit that oriental beauty mood. It's sweet, but more in elegant way. With strawberry, you get like, you know, like it's a bit like a childish light. This is very sophisticated. I love that. The Ma, and I have to talk about this Ma and Tonka by Jo Malone. This is for the people that say that Jo Malone don't last on the skin. Jo Malone blah 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 blah. Try this. A waxy feeling, nearly like you're lighting a candle in the dark. It's resinous, but not too much. It doesn't feel churchy and stuff like that. Roasted vanilla. It's a great signature scent as well. Scents. And my favorite incense that I would love to add in my collection, La Liturgie des Heures by Jovoy. So unique, religious fragrance to next level. This smell exactly like you in a church. They've been burning some resins, cold stones of the church. I've been raised in a Catholic environment. I've been to Catholic school. But I wouldn't say that I'm Catholic nowadays. This really triggers memory for me and it makes me feel quite emotional. It's also extremely powerful. Next one is iris. This flower is quite special because iris always smell powdery, violet-like, comfort. A lot into the masculine designer category because it doesn't feel like a pretty flower. It more feels like it gives sensitivity to a fragrance, and I think it's great and it's very attractive when you smell that. I feel there's something that is addictive into iris. And my favorite has to be Geranium Intense. If there's one fragrance in designer that you should start your collection to, and I should start my collection to if I would be Geranium Intense. It's hands down my favorite fragrance from Dior. Hands down, one of my favorite designer for men. You can't get bored of that smell. I absolutely love them. Cannabis note. Ooh la! I hope I don't get demonetized. Because of my strong French accent, they might not see that I'm talking about this. Désir Toxique. Definitely one of the best one I smell. It feels mossy in the dry down. It has some warmth. It feels green. Characteristic that you will find in a classic masculine fragrance, but with the time it transforms into something much more warmer and intense, and it's very sexy. And the cannabis note gives something like very forbidden. Marine note, marine accords if you prefer, a combination of a few notes that usually give a marine scent. Or you know, like there's one molecule that is used a lot to do like marine laundry-like kind of smell is dihydromethanol. This molecule smells like a laundry machine, and it's used, for example, in Allure Sport, for example, to create a marine accord. My favorite at the moment is Un air de Bretagne by L'Artisan Parfumeur. Bretagne is where I'm from. Like the seaside is like very wild. You have a lot of aromas, you have a little bit of a microclimate, it's not too cold, not too warm, but beautiful and calm. I really feel that in this fragrance. Like there's a lot of marine scent that you're like, ew, you know, like it's difficult to wear. You don't want to smell fishy. Voila. And that's a great one. I love Pear because it's very joyful, useful. It gives something a little bit young. You know? My favorite Pear fragrance was Balmain Ecstatic because it's oriental and gives something sexy to this ingredient. Absolutely loved it. It was my signature design scent. It's been discontinued and I broke my last bottle. I'm the saddest bunny in town. I am wearing Prada Paradox. It's very simple. It's not mind-blowing. I smell that everywhere. I don't know why I really like it. I have a soft spot on Pear fragrance. Happy, feminine, joyful fragrance. It gives me like a great mood, and sometimes when I don't want to wear like heavy fragrances or difficult, complicated fragrances, that's a good caramel. And I need to talk about Viva la Juicy Gold Couture. I could talk about a lot of caramel that are super fancy that I have in my collection, but I want to talk about this because this is the caramel that I gifted the most to my friends, and he always had a good reaction, or maybe they're lying to me. It's very synthetic, but how sexy this fragrance is, and usually he has amazing reaction with men. Yeah. Sometimes, you know, I'm feeling we're doing so much effort, and you know. And I think he leaves an amazing sillage. Jesus, like it's a great investment. Voilà. One is chocolate, and I have to talk about Dolce Passione by Pantheon Roma. This is quite something else. This is next level chocolate fragrance. You're gonna smell that, you're gonna approach it, and your first reaction within 1 second will be like, whoa, mind blowing. This is the heaviest chocolate fragrance you will ever smell. And mark my words here, I am correct. I'm gonna struggle to know where I'm gonna wear that because this is so intense. Next one is Bubblegum, and I have to talk about Belle Rebelle, and it's called Bubblegum. This is hands down the best bubblegum fragrance. I smell feeling like you're chewing it and you're making some bubble of it. It doesn't feel extra sweet. I feel it's a great way nowadays when you're not a kid to wear a bubblegum fragrance. I really like it. Macaron, it's Ariana Grande. Honestly, macarons is done artificially. They don't cost a lot of money to do, so I don't want to pay too much money for a macaron fragrance. Except you're like sweetie oud and you put me intense oud in there. Then okay. But if it's not the case, I'd rather go for this. Smells pickles for some people. But for me, I love it. Like coconut, very macaron-like, pastry-like. Sometimes I want to feel cocooning. I love to wear that. Voilà. One is musk. So we're going completely opposite in the side. Musk feels earthy, it feels dry, it feels green. My favorite at the moment is definitely a commodity musk. It doesn't smell too much like the ground, which is usually how I smell musky fragrance. Lemony, cologne-like vibe at the start, especially the one that I have is the expressive one. Very fresh, and quite delicate, to be honest. It's not the best projector. I'm gonna say one thing that is a bit annoying is the longevity. It doesn't really last very long. It feels like a proper eau de cologne. Very fresh, a bit musty on the tone. That's something a little bit poetic, nearly a little bit wet. I love it. Anyway guys, take one ingredient and give me your favorite in there. I can't wait to see your comments. Last time on this video, part 1, you've been quite chatty in the comments and I absolutely love it. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you're new here. 50% of you are not subscribed, and honestly, like, it feels just really nice. I'm not gonna spam you with videos, and I'm giving a big thanks to the people that super thank. The last one in date is Max, that is such a sweet person. I always enjoy to read your comment. Your $20 super thanks, it's really appreciated. And you can see the rest of the people that have been supporting the channel just there. Have a lovely day. Bye now. You and me wander around West County. Take my hand, shop and see. Only get paid hourly. We can couple, I can drive. Listening to Jackson 5. We can make it. Je t'emmène dans mon paradis bleu.